Hello everyone. The subject which I'm going to discuss in this session is cost management for sixth semester BCom, and the topic is marginal cost equation, uses and limitations of marginal costing and break-even analysis. So first we'll see in marginal cost equation what are the formulas we have to take into consideration. In the last sessions we had discussed about this contribution. How to find out contribution is equal to sales minus variable cost. So here what we have to take into consideration is only the sales and variable cost. If these two figures are given, easily you can find out contribution. Suppose you think sales is 1 lakh, variable cost may be around 40,000. So sales minus variable cost will be 60,000. That is nothing but contribution. So one more formula which we can find out contribution is fixed cost plus profit. So once we find out sales minus variable cost, the amount which we have, that is, see now for example what I told you, 1 lakh minus 40,000, variable cost is 40,000, so the contribution is 60,000. In the 60,000, both profit as well as fixed cost will be included. We can think that and this fixed cost may be 25,000. So in this 60,000, that is contribution is 60,000, in that 25,000 is fixed cost. So when 25,000 is fixed cost, balance that 35,000 whatever is there, that will be the profit. So contribution, if they give fixed cost and profit also can be found out, or if they just give sales and variable cost also, we can identify the contribution. Sometimes it is not that always there will be profit. There also the organization can also incur loss. So when there is loss, contribution you can find out by fixed cost minus loss. The sales minus variable cost is nothing but equal to fixed cost plus profit. So that same example if we apply here, sales is 1 lakh, variable cost is 40,000. So sales minus variable cost will give you 60,000. Here, as I told you, fixed cost if you take it as 25,000, profit as 35,000. If you add this fixed cost plus profit also will give you 60,000. So 60,000 is equal to 60,000. Or sales minus variable cost is equal to fixed cost minus loss. So contribution, if you want to find out, you can use either of this equation, and the balancing figure or the net figure what we arrive at can be termed as contribution. Next, if you want to find out profit volume ratio, profit volume ratio is PV ratio, where you can at what percentage you have to fix up this profit volume ratio. Here again profit volume ratio is equal to sales minus variable cost divided by sales, again divided by sales. So 1 lakh minus 40,000 divided by 1 lakh. That will give you profit volume ratio. Sales minus variable cost, the figure what you got in the simple example what we discussed in the previous slide is 40,000. So 40,000 divided by 1 lakh. So what is the percentage? That will be 40%. PV ratio will be 40%. Again, sales minus variable cost is nothing but contribution. So directly you can take contribution divided by sales also. Contribution is 60,000. 60,000 divided by sales. That will give you profit volume ratio. In the first example also, sales minus variable cost, we took as 1 lakh minus 40,000. Sorry, that will be 60,000 divided by 1 lakh. So that if you take into percentage, into 100, you will get the percentage, that is nothing but profit volume ratio. Again, profit volume in percentage, as I told in the previous slide only, contribution by sales into 100, if you convert it, that will be taken it as percentage. So contribution what we got is 60,000 divided by 1 lakh into 100. So that will be converted into percentage, that is nothing but profit volume in percentage. And one more formula, it is not only we can use contribution by sales into 100, we can also use one more formula, that is change in contribution divided by change in sales is equal to change in profit divided by change in sales. So when there is comparative figures given, two 3 or 2 years information will be given in certain problems like. So there you can find out what is the difference in sales contribution and difference in sales, that you can take into consideration. That is also one of the formula where you can find out PV ratio. Change in contribution is like if two compare years are given, we have to compare it and find out what is the difference. That has to be taken into consideration. That is difference in contribution. Again, sales also. If in the 2 years, if there is variation in sales, definitely there will be variation in sales. It will not be the same. So when we take into consideration the difference in sales, so change in contribution divided by change in sales is equal to change in profit divided by change in sales. That again can be, this formula also can be used to find out PV ratio. One is contribution by sales into 100 in percentage, and the other formula is change in contribution divided by change in sales is equal to change in profit divided by change in sales. Now we'll see what are the uses of marginal costing. Cost ascertainment. So for, against, need, everything, and the last session we had discussed. Now we'll see exactly for what it is useful. Marginal costing technique facilitates not only the recording of costs but their reporting also. The classification of cost into fixed and variable components makes the job of cost ascertainment easier. What is cost ascertainment? Is if you want to ascertain certain cost, this marginal costing technique is quite useful. This is not only for the recording but also for preparing the report. Also, this marginal costing is very useful. The classification of cost into fixed and variable components makes the job of cost ascertainment much easier. The main problem in this regard is only the segregation of the semi-variable cost into fixed and variable element. What is semi-variable cost is neither fixed nor variable. Up to certain extent, certain cost will be fixed and later on it becomes variable. Suppose if you want to install electricity in a building, in a factory building, the installation charges is fixed, and later on the electricity charges which is incurred every month, that will be variable. So this can be termed as semi variable. Why it is termed as semi variable is it's a combination of both fixed and variable elements. That's why it is semi variable. So this can be segregated, but certain costs it becomes very difficult for the segregation of fixed and variable. However, this may be overcome by adopting any one of the methods in this regard. Then decision making also, like when we discussed about marginal costing, how it is useful. For when we spoke, when we discussed, I had told you how it is so much useful for the decision making also. Again, it is repeated here. Modern management is faced with several decision making problems every day. Profit Profitability is the main criterion for selecting the best course of action. So marginal costing is the tool which assists the management in solving many problems. So decision making also, like in an organization, decision making is not an easy job. So many criteria has to be taken into consideration. So when we are checking out all this all can be set right only in marginal costing, as marginal costing covers all the elements of cost: fixed, variable, semi-variable. So all these factors, when it is taken into consideration, the decision making becomes much easier. And even cost control also. Marginal cost statements can be understood easily by the management than those presented under absorption costing. Bifurcation of cost into fixed and variable enables management to exercise control over production cost and thereby affect efficiency. In fact, while variable costs are controllable at the lower levels of management, fixed costs can be controlled at the top level. Under this technique, management can study the behavior of costs at varying condition of output and sales and thereby exercise better control over costs. Cost control also is not an easy task. See, cost control and cost reduction, if it has to be applied in the organization, many factors has to be taken into consideration. In absorption costing, all the costs are taken per unit of the product. But in marginal costing, it is taken only after the cost of production. So this bifurcation of cost into fixed and variable cost enables management. Since here it is bifurcated, which is fixed and which is variable, and it is clearly stated, management can exercise control over production cost and thereby affect efficiency. So wherever it is possible, and as we all know, variable cost is controllable. To certain extents, we can control the variable cost by avoiding wastages and eliminating the waste. All this can be done through variable cost. Since here it is bifurcated, wherever variable cost is occurred or incurred, that can be controlled. And this can be controlled at the lower level of management. It doesn't mean that fixed cost cannot be controlled. That also can be controlled, but that is possible only at the top level. So under this technique, management can study both the behavior of costs and varying conditions and thereby take effective or better control over the cost. So all this or the till now what we have discussed is about the uses of marginal costing. What are these limitations? Assumes that all costs can be classified into fixed variable. One of the main drawback of this marginal costing is assumption. It's not quite easy to bifurcate all the costs into fixed and variable. Certain costs are there which we cannot state whether it is fixed or variable. But first and foremost, criteria in marginal costing is bifurcation of a cost into fixed and variable. But this assumption is not true in certain cases. It assumes that all the costs can be classified into fixed and but there are many certain costs which are neither fixed nor variable but the result of the management discretion and policy. It is a result of the management decision. For example, various amenities to workers may have no relation either to volume of production or time factor. When certain amenities is provided to the labor, that also is an expenses, but that is nowhere related to the production. Your marginal costing is giving importance only for the production. Here, the time factor is not taken into consideration, and this can either be fixed or variable cost. So, this is one of the limitation of the marginal costing, and also it ignores time factor and investment. It ignores time factor and investment. For example, the marginal cost of two jobs may be the same, but the time taken in their completion and the cost of machines used may be differ. Here, the true cost of a job which takes longer time or uses costlier machines should be higher. This is not disclosed by marginal costing when the time factor which is very important and also the investment how much is invested also has to be taken into consideration that but the marginal costing what it gives importance is only for the marginal cost here for example like what it is given is the two jobs may be the same. The marginal cost of the two jobs may be the same, that is the cost incurred by the two jobs may be the same. But here, when we go in depth, we can find out that one of the job has utilized higher costlier machines, but the marginal cost is same. And one of the other machines which has marginal cost is same has utilized more time than the other one. So this all has to be taken into consideration while determining the price level or cost level. But all this is not taken into consideration in marginal costing. No show of profit before work completed. The application of marginal costing in certain industries, such as shipbuilding, construction, etc., may show no profit or loss during the year work is in progress, but huge profit in the year the work is completed. This is due to the non inclusion of overheads in the value of closing work in progress. So, this also is one of the main drawbacks since in the work in progress, the overheads is not included, whatever cost has been incurred in certain industries, especially in construction and shipbuilding industries, it may show no profit or no loss during the year where the work is in progress. But what happens suddenly after the completion of the work? It shows a huge profit. It is not a good indication. Why it is so is like initially they are not paying any taxes since it is there is no profit at all. But finally, after the completion of the work, the burden of paying the tax also will be more for the organization, the manufacturers. All at once it will be shown. Instead of that, every year, if it is divided or if the inclusion of profit is done, that will be better both for the industries, for the organization, and also for the government. Selling price based on variable cost, not true selling price. In the long run, true selling price should be based on total cost, that is inclusive of fixed cost also. In the short run or in special situation, when a product is sold below the total cost, customers on the condition of credit prices forever, and this is not possible in all the cases. Initially, the company what they will do to increase the sales in the short run, they may reduce the price, but this itself makes the customers to expect even in the long run. So this is not possible actually. The price should be based on the total cost and not on the contribution. Contribution takes into consideration only the sales minus variable cost. But when you are fixing up the price, you what the main thing you have to take into consideration is total cost. Only when the total cost is taken into consideration, the price, whatever is determined, will be perfect. And that too, if for the short run, if we fix up certain price, and in the long run, if you go for an increase in price, the customers may not be ready to accept it. Now we'll see what is this break-even analysis. Break-even analysis tells you how many of units of a product must be sold to cover the fixed and variable cost of production. This is nothing but it's a point where there is neither profit nor loss. So whatever cost has been incurred, that will be recovered by the sales, whatever has been sold. That point where the company is neither making profit nor loss will be termed as break-even point. This break-even point is considered a measure of the margin of safety. So until you are in the break-even point, you are in a zone where there is no fear of loss. Here also we can check out by drawing the graph the margin of safety also. Break-even analysis is used broadly from stock and options trading to corporate budgeting for various projects. This break analysis is used for the various projects, and that too if it is a long-term projects, they check out at what point there will be break-even. The break-even analysis is a financial tool which helps a company to determine the stage at which the company or a new service or a product will be profitable. In other words, it's a financial calculation for determining the number of products the company should sell or provide to cover its cost. Not only this, the company gets a clear picture they at what point they are safe and how many products has to be sold to recover all the cost. Initially, this break-even point is very useful in the it's a startup company or not, they'll be waiting for this break-even point because any company or any organization for that matter, when initially it start, they can't expect immediately profit to happen. So for them, the first stage will be the break-even point. Once they cross the break-even point, they are in the safer zone and they can expect from profit from that point. So all the organization should and must maintain this and study this break-even analysis. So this will be continued in the next session with a break-even chart graph. There you will get a clear picture about margin of safety, angle of incidence, how much yeah, profit will be gained, and how the point after certain times becomes wider because the company will be making profit. So on and so forth will be discussed in the next session of this subject. Thank you all for hearing to my video. Any queries, feel free to contact. Thank you all.